And that was Simon.
Oh, that was the only one?
Yeah.
I thought there would have been more.
There is more, but we can play it later.
Okay.
And there is Simon.
Evening up.
Oh, loud and clear. You don't have the crest head disease, do you?
I might have, but who knows? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You're loud and clear. Loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm going.
Awesome.
I'm going.
Supposedly, they told us that we were going to have a really hard time understanding your accent.
That's to be decided.
It is to be decided. Well, let me say right now, I understand every freaking word.
That's
Yes.
good. Well, you get used to my yam tones as we go through the evening.
What did we just see, Simon? What was that? Explain that to us.
Right, that's House Jammers, which is a band that I've had for about 23 years now. So we go out playing classic house and dance tunes, but obviously we rock it up a bit with a live setup. So it's really good fun.
Nice. Do you guys still perform?
Yeah. We still
Oh,
perform.
nice.
So keeps me out of trouble.
What do you have coming up next? Is there anything coming up that's going to be televised like that per se?
Well, we haven't had anything televised. We just had that videoed. But we've got. I'm just trying to think. The next one I think is in April. The next decent-sized festival. I'll get you the links. I'll send the links through to you so that you can. Cause I can't remember the dates off the top of my head.
Oh,
to be
perfect,
perfectly
yeah.
honest.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll post them in our Discord and stuff.
Now, were you opening up for someone, or was that your self-generated tour or concert?
That one that was videoed, that's we do that every year at a place called Trenton Gardens, and it's just us for 2 hours.
That is an impressive turnout. Here's where I'm going with this. At one point in time that Prince and Morris dating the time, ex-nay you guys from the band and steal all of the spotlight because you were a threat. Go on, explain now. Prince he's no longer with us, so he can't answer.
Yeah. I tell you what, we didn't part as friends, let's put it that way.
Yeah. And the reason why I say this, and this is just me, and I've always thought about you this way when I first was introduced to you through Hardware Jams with your music. It reminded me of like the 80s during that time where that style of music, to me, it was the best. You know, it was so unique and it was so dance vibe. It was so electric, so to say.
Yeah.
I find it to be strange that's what I get from it. Or were you, or are you any? I guess, do you like Prince and Morris Day in the time? Like, was that music that interested you in the day?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who doesn't like Prince? I mean, he's a genius. And I suppose 80s was the time when I was growing up musically. So, when I was in bands and I was getting my sort of my shit together with the studios and things. Obviously, Prince is always there. Lots of other influences as well, but he was certainly a very influential part of my music life.
Yeah. Let's okay.
Simon has a quick question.
Okay.
Whoa.
Simon.
Sorry, Sam.
Sam
has a quick question for Simon. How the fuck did you get that funky?
Damn.
And see, that's what I was.
Okay, Sam. That's a good question. We're actually going to pin that to the top so we don't forget it. But first,
Well,
Simon,
that's it. Back at you, Sam. How the fuck did you get that funky?
Yeah.
So
that big sound.
you kind of answered your own question.
Yeah. Okay. First off, let me do this.
Oh yeah, set it up.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Oh.
And today we have Sam Greatbatch. Is that how you say your last name?
Yeah. That's
okay.
I get some interesting variations, but that's about as good as it gets.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I bet.
Okay.
What's the most interesting way somebody pronounced your last name?
Well, I had one about a week ago, Greatbatch, which I thought was
I was gonna go there, but I did not do it, and I was thinking
love
that.
it.
Yeah.
Great.
That was the first
bitch.
thing I was thinking because maybe I thought about it before.
Of course you. How would they get great bitch?
Because it's
I don't
just
know.
something you would
Batch.
want to say.
Yeah.
Because you always
It's
say, "Hey, batch, hey, bitch."
It was from a pretty dubious call centre, to be honest. They were probably
Yeah.
after my bank account details. Is that Mr. Greatbatch? And I, fuck you, mate.
Okay. Now, here's how we like to start this. We like to start back in the younger career. So I'm not even the career, but catch us up. Like who were you at a very young age? What have you come from, and
What drove you to
what
it?
drove you to all of this? Take as far as back as you want to go.
Well, right. Well, as far as my musical journey's concerned, my granddad used to have a piano, and we used to spend a lot of time around at my grandparents' when I was younger. And there was absolutely nothing to do around at that place apart from play the piano. So I just sort of taught myself how to play tunes of the day on this piano, and it's really never left me since then. I did have proper piano lessons when I think I was about 8 or 9, but I hated it, so never used to practice what I was supposed to practice. And then when I was at school, I got into the school band. Well, not the school band, but got into a band with some guys at school. Bought my first set of keyboards and just went from there, basically. Started playing gigs, then started getting more into the recording side of things. And yeah, lots and lots of different influences. Mm-hmm. But I'm where I am at the moment, so just doing this 80s retro stuff.
Right. But as a kid, was there a catalyst? Was there something that said, "Oh, Simon's got to play music now," because this sparked it all for me?
Yeah, what did mom and dad play in the house when you were like 7 years old?
Oh God, they got the worst possible taste in music. Honestly,
That's probably what did it. Simon was like, no, we can do better than this, guys.
absolutely, yeah. It was quite offensive, their record collection, and
Not just bad, but offensive.
Yeah.
offensive, yeah. So it was very much a case of me taking my my records upstairs on my tapes and listening as loud as I possibly could to drown out whatever they were doing downstairs. And so I was listening to people like Bowie was and still is a massive fan of Bowie. Mm-hmm. Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Heaven 17, Thomas Dolby. The list is endless. There's loads and loads of people. Japan, massive Japan fan as well. Mm-hmm. So listening to all these different styles of music. I was also really into jazz as well. Miles Davis and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm.
What were their parents playing though? What was so what was so offensive about what your parents were playing?
I'm curious on that.
It wasn't that bad, but it's stuff like they got things like James Last albums and
John Denver and shit.
Not even that. That wouldn't have been so bad, but it was very much sort of really shit sort of easy listening music that they were into. They weren't really very musically orientated, it was just there as a supplementary thing if they had a party. But I was the opposite end of the spectrum. I was really, really into my music, which probably drove them mad. Mm-hmm. But
They're probably like, "What's wrong with our son?
Yeah.
what is wrong
Where
with
did
them?
we go wrong?"
But he got it from the granddad, so it
Yeah.
obviously skipped a generation.
Yeah.
Absolutely got it from a granddad.
Do you have any siblings? Are you the only child?
I've got a sister, and she's not massively musical. She's got a great voice, but I think her sort of furthest musical journey was I don't know, she got it really into ABBA. So,
yeah.
which is cool, but like,
hasn't?
it'd be nice to progress a bit further than ABBA.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Have you and your sister done anything together?
I beg your pardon?
No.
Yeah.
Musically wise?
Yeah.
Jesus,
Yeah. Simon's like, what kind of fucking backward
God.
Kentucky shit is that? To ask her?
Come on.
And I'm not throwing Kentucky under the bus, but I'm throwing Kentucky under the bus.
Musically speaking, Simon.
No. And no.
He's like, just in case the other one comes up.
Yeah.
Well, why not? How come you guys haven't done anything musically together?
Again, she's not really, she's not massively musically orientated. She's,
Oh, gotcha. It's not her thing.
No, I think, if you're a muso, like we all are in this community, it's quite difficult to understand why people aren't so passionate about it. But,
Yeah.
if you're not, everyone's got their own thing, haven't they? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think listening to you makes me feel good that I'm an analog bass player that plays with a bunch of guys that are on synths. There's a few that play bass, like there's Luke, there's Cressy, I think Twin City Oxygen plays and other people play. But I think sometimes I'm just like, if I listen to other people like you or JRC, I'm like, oh, okay, you still can be this sort of like traditional musician and have a space here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And
Absolutely.
add some synths type of
Right.
stuff in it. Yeah.
Right.
What's your nationality, Simon?
Sorry, mate, say that again. You broke up a little bit then.
What's your nationality?
My nationality, I'm a Yam Yam. I'm UK Wolverhampton.
I have no fucking
So
clue
what
what
the
that
fuck
is.
is that,
Yeah.
Simon?
What,
Right,
what's
Speak
like
English.
I'm
we're not
English.
from the UK, Simon. Okay.
Right, okay. I'm
Everybody
English.
in
and
chat
I'm
was like, oh, okay, yeah, we know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two fucking Americans
Yeah.
is like,
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah. What? Huh?
right, well, my nationality is English, and I'm from a place in the UK, right in the middle of the UK, called Wolverhampton originally, which hasn't got the best rep for a town in the UK, but so that's where I'm from.
Born and raised?
What did you? I'm interested to know. What did you think my nationality was?
Oh, I didn't. I had no idea.
We just ask. I mean, if you were
I
to ask me,
assumed UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I assumed
assumed-
the
I
UK.
kind of got some like Irish, Scottish shot of it a little bit.
But people
right.
were telling us that your accent was so heavy. I thought maybe there was like some, I don't
Gypsy,
know, some
pikey
like
shit going,
gypsy in UK with like some New Yorker or something mixed in. Like I was expecting like the worst possible like accent ever.
Right.
And I'm like,
No.
this is totally fine.
Oh, that's cool then. As long as you can understand me. So
Yeah.
we haven't got to.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
as long as you didn't
Sign
come in here
language.
like mumbles, we're
Yeah.
Oh,
totally
my
fine.
God.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good on
so,
that.
So, what is the are you living in the same district you've always lived in, or you kind of move around?
Well, no, I'm about 30 miles north of where I originated from, so I haven't moved that far. But it's far enough away for it to be a completely different sort of vibe, if you know what I mean, from where where I grew up. But so I haven't moved around that much, but I do get around quite a bit with the band and with my work. So
Right.
I'm pretty transient when it comes to actually traveling. So.
Yeah. Have you traveled to the States yet to play any music?
I have never travelled to the States, and I would love to.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the one place that you want to travel that you haven't yet?
Well, the States is one. There's loads of places I'd love to go to. Particularly like to go to New Zealand. I'd love to go to India.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's all sorts of places. I mean, there's incredible places on the planet, isn't there? But
Yeah.
Right. Right.
yeah.
What was your favorite spot that you went to perform?
Oh, to perform.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a tough one. We did a tour around the Alps, the French Alps, one year, which was
Oh,
really good
wow.
fun. So we were playing gigs sort of thousands of feet in the air in the snow, and that was really great. We did some nice ones in Portugal. So yeah, I guess those two are the nicest. But equally, in the UK, we've done some, pretty amazing places. So been very lucky with the band. We've had some really good experiences out of it.
Nice.
It seems like you have a fairly decent sized band. How do you guys get around? Are you guys actually chartering like a bus, or do you break things down like the rest of us and throw it in the car and make your way there?
Yeah, it really isn't as we all make our own individual way there. We have to take the kit down. Obviously, when we're doing gigs like you saw on that video, that's a slightly different kettle of fish, because you've obviously got a huge stage and a PA system all ready to go. But then you could be doing a gig like that one night, and then the next night you could be doing somebody's wedding. So then you're taking the PA and taking all your kit and setting up and packing down and travelling home. So yeah, it's chalk and cheese. They're not all like that.
It's a lot of hard work.
Absolutely.
I believe it.
Have you ever done a gig where, and my brother and I have done this, where you show up?
Did you really quick? Did you guys plan on the same shirt, or was that accidental?
Twin thing.
I didn't see him get dressed.
I didn't see him get
That's
dressed.
right. Yeah.
What color pants is he wearing, Marilyn?
You like a grayish blue?
Grayish.
At
What
least
are you wearing?
At least we managed to
Different
fuck
pants.
that up.
Yeah, I just noticed that you guys were wearing the same shirt. And the same freaking hat.
I know.
What the hell?
And the
Sorry.
same glasses
Okay.
almost.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Enough about us.
Could you
Okay.
guys be any
All right.
more annoying?
No. Okay. This has happened to my brother and I. What happens when you go on stage and they have everything set up and they have their own engineer, and it's not quite the way you prefer it as a musician, and it's going to compromise your sound if you move forward? Have you got to a point where you said, you know what, we're not doing this gig?
We've taken a slightly different approach, because you presumably you're on about your on-stage sound, the sound that you're hearing. Right, yeah. So we now, all of us use in-ear monitoring. So we've got our own in-ear rig. So regardless of what the sound engineers put out front, we always hear the same mix. So we can set up really quickly and plug in our instruments into our own little monitor desk, and then adjust our own monitor mixes, so that we're never going to be in the hands of an engineer that doesn't know our
Your
setup.
sound. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But has there ever been a worry that the crowd wasn't hearing it the way you know it to be?
Oh, constantly. But you're never going to. That's the shit thing about playing in a band. You never know what you sound like out the front. So, you could have the worst sound possible on stage, but you might sound amazing out front, but you're never going to know that. So you have to put your trust in whoever's doing your front of house mix. So the moral of the story is, don't piss off the front of house sound engineer. Always been really nice to them.
we always said that whoever came with us, a lot of times it was simply risky. When we would go out and play jams, we had certain people, we trust their ears, and we would strategically place them in various parts of the room and get their opinion. And they say, and you trusted their judgment because they know our sound.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a little too forward facing on the bass, or maybe turn
the harps down.
turn the harps down or lower the drums. And you would just pretty much, and this is old school stuff, right? Before everybody was using in-ears. Like you literally went out there and you had monitors. So I can see how that is still a worry. But I find myself, I don't have to worry about that now, especially when we're in the studio setting.
Right.
Yeah,
everything's direct in. And, yeah.
There was definitely a point in time, as you say, before in-ears were accessible to everybody, where you'd go on and you'd have a really shit time because the sound on stage is absolutely terrible. But you just have to hope that the sound out front is coming across okay. And you just gauge the reaction of the crowd. If the crowd are looking at you and want to throw stones at you, then you know that the sound's shit or you're shit, and it's just write it off. But generally speaking, you could have in the days when we were using on-stage monitoring, wedge monitors or whatever, and it sounded abysmal on stage. But if the crowd are having a good time, that's all that matters, because those are the most important people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to require you to think back, but tell us about your very first gig. What was that like? What went wrong?
Ooh,
Just
and
what-
how old were you?
And how old were you?
How old would I have been? About 15, I think.
Young. Nice.
And there's only one thing went wrong, and that was everything. So, yeah, it was hilarious. I'd love to have been in the audience, because it's just been absolutely hilarious. Yeah, but
And was it with
know,
the band?
yeah, the band, we were shit. We were absolutely terrible. So we thought we were Japan or Duran Duran or something, and we were plastered in makeup. We looked like a right bunch of dickheads for a start, and
Oh
we
my
were playing
God.
this absolutely dreadful sort of pseudo new romantic stuff, which sounded absolutely awful at the time. So, but hey, you got to start somewhere, haven't you?
Right.
Oh my God,
uh,
please tell me you still have like pictures or something of that you can send me.
I ceremoniously burnt those pictures about 10 years ago.
You don't want the memories anymore.
actually-
No.
I could gather that by the way we asked the question and how Simon's like, I really don't want to fucking talk about this
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
all, ever.
Yeah.
I don't want to revisit it in my mind. I don't.
Right.
But
Yeah,
the most
nothing.
embarrassing times are like you said, you learn from them, but there are most
grow from them.
fun times.
And they're funny. You can
Laugh at
laugh
yourself.
at them now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
they were horrendous then.
Yeah. Our first time was shit.
Yeah.
It was
Somebody in the chat is asking what year it was when you had that. I think they're trying to gather how old you are.
I think it would have been 1983.
83.
So
Okay.
I'm 57, if you really want to know.
Yeah.
So
You're
I had
young.
Young guy.
Yeah, I've had a hard paper round. So yeah.
Uncle Chrome says, has your band had issues with spontaneously combusting drummers?
Shit.
No,
I didn't know that
but
was a thing.
one did choke on his own vomit.
Jeez.
No,
Wow,
obviously
too
you
much
guys.
partying, huh?
No, this is all references to a film called Spinal Tap. Have you ever seen
Oh,
Spinal
nope.
Tap?
No, no.
Nope.
Right. Okay. Go watch Spinal Tap.
Well, then we'll get it. Okay,
Yeah.
because clearly there's some references
Yeah.
we don't know.
I wish
Right.
we would have
Yeah.
known we had homework before interviewing Simon.
Right.
I know.
We would have watched the movie.
On the
Thanks,
road,
Uncle Chrome.
I know. On the road, Simon, what's the funniest thing or the most bizarre thing you've ever seen while gigging?
Oh man.
It just has to stick out. Like you have to tell this story.
Well, there's several. I'm just trying to think of the best one to tell, or the one that I can get away with without being arrested.
Oh, shit.
I mean, you've served your time, so you're fine.
You didn't have a tour bus
You're good.
that shat on people as you drove, did you? Okay.
Jeez.
No. We've never had a tour bus. Never had.
No,
Well,
okay.
we've had a van that we've driven ourselves, but yeah, we've never made it
We'll
to the
call
Giddy
that the
Heights. of
tour
having a-
bus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll call
okay.
it the tour bus.
I think one of the funniest ones was when we were playing at a gig at a very, very posh hotel. It was a corporate event in Scotland, and our two vocalists got absolutely shit-faced before the gig, and
Oh no! And the vocalist.
yeah,
Jeez.
and the one, she mooned. She mooned out of the window and got chucked out of the hotel. So that's pretty.
Oh,
So that was a bit of a nightmare. But,
It's begun.
yeah.
and how old were you during that? I'm going to assume this is when you guys first started.
Yeah, this was quite a while ago. This was about 15 years ago when that happened. But
Right.
yeah,
have you-
we were old enough to know better. But
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the singers are always a lot younger than the guys in the band. So yeah, but she's now married to Bez at the Happy Mondays. So you know, it sort of
did
worked out all right for her.
Did you
Yeah.
did you moon anybody that night too, Simon?
Did I mean anybody?
Yeah.
Oh, God, no.
Did you happen to?
I'm a
Said,
gentleman.
no.
I'm sure. I'm
Did you
sure.
happen to show your chest hair to anyone?
I've got that many hairs on my chest. I've got names for them. So
Yeah.
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 I promised everybody if they tuned in, they would get a little bit of sneak peek of Simon's chest hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were.
Cressy said, not even a half a moon.
Not even
Simon?
a half a moon.
Not even a half
Not
a
even
moon.
a quarter moon is what Cressy's asking.
You couldn't have been this fucking angel, Simon. What are you not
I
telling
don't
us?
believe it. I
Yes.
don't believe it. Tell us about that one time you got arrested.
Yeah.
He's now thinking to himself, why did I agree
Agree to this
interview? I've seen them make Luke cry.
Yeah.
I've seen what they did to Kent Spong, but yet I'm still here.
Yeah. I'm the mug, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, no, yeah.
yeah. So no, I'm not going to answer that question. So
Damn it. We almost had him. Had him.
Yeah. Are you married, Simon?
Shoot.
I am. Yeah. Just
Okay.
about. Yeah.
Yeah. How long have you been married?
30 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, we'll ask your wife. She'll spill
Yeah,
the
send her
beans.
in here, Simon.
Yeah, bring her in.
Let us talk to the real source here, because clearly.
She genuinely isn't here. Honestly, she's out partying somewhere with her work colleagues. So
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
beautiful.
yeah, it is brilliant because I got the house to myself.
Oh, there you go. You got kids?
Yeah, but they're grown up now. So
Oh, musicians? Maybe?
no.
Oh, no, they didn't
what
follow
happened?
Dad's footsteps, huh?
They tried. My son actually got quite good on the drums, but he's really into his cars. That's his passion.
Oh,
So
nice.
he does all this drifting thing, which
Oh, yeah.
I can't get my head around it at all. But he's into that. And my daughter lives in Holland, so she lives in Amsterdam.
Oh, okay.
And,
Okay.
she's got 2 kids of her own. So yeah, I'm a granddad basically.
Jeez, a young one at that.
Wow.
Yeah, we're grandparents too.
Yeah.
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 We're in our late 40s and grandparents ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Greg says, not musicians, so they're responsible kids.
Oh,
Yes,
I see
that's
what he
right,
did there. I see what he did.
Yes,
Like,
nice
to tell you,
words from
there's
the
no
drummer.
fucking way we're going to end up like Dad. So
No. We've seen this. Yeah, we're not doing this.
Now, do you rely on music for your the main income, or do you have a separate gig that you kind of have to behave to?
At one point, I was. It was certainly a sizable part of my income. Not anymore. Unfortunately, I'd like it to be, but around, let me think, it was just before COVID. I got myself. I was self-employed for about 20 odd years, and unfortunately, my business had a bit of a wobble, so I had to go back into employment. So I've been doing that since 2016. And so yeah, I've got a full-time job, and it's the music that keeps me sane.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So,
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're playing with the band, do you guys come together and say things like we always want to keep this sound, whether it's 80ish or if it's like a progressive 80ish? But
Yeah.
is there any like talks amongst you, like as far as pushing the sound a different way?
Well, the band, the video that you played, that's strictly covers. So that's all. We're called house jammers. So basically, we've always go out and play house music, but in our interpretation of house music. So that's not really. There's only so much creative direction that you can give that. It is what it is, and. The sad reality is that you can get a lot of work going out playing covers. You don't get so much work going out playing your own stuff. So it's very doubtful that I'd be able to go out and play to a crowd the size that you saw on that video, play my own music.
Right.
So yeah, that's very much a way of generating income, but still having good fun playing music. As far as the stuff that I do on my own, and also the stuff that I do with in Love Face, which is the stuff you had on Popcorn Night the other night. That's a conscious decision, because 80s is very much in vogue again, and the concept of it is basically taking, well, with Love Face, it's taking a-cappellas and creating a brand new 80s soundtrack to it. So,
Oh, wow.
could be taking a 90s house track and then taking the a cappella of that and then making it sound like it was originally done in 1984 or something. So that's the creative angle on that.
Yeah.
And then with my own stuff, which basically has all come about through hardware jams and doing these EMOMs. That's just do what I want, whatever I'm feeling at the time, just do it. And unfortunately, I've got pigeonholed into this sort of 80s funky stuff, but I do like all sorts of different stuff.
I would say that I definitely could tell. So watching that, it did not sound like you, right? Like watching that, it was like, oh, this is his band's
It's a
sound.
cohesive project.
Yeah, this is his band sound. This isn't a Simon sound that I'm used to. The sound that I'm used to is definitely
like EMOM.
the hardware jams that you do. And let me ask you this, and it's nothing to do with the band, but how you feel personally. Do you feel better playing Simon's originals or when you're playing the covers?
Definitely, from a satisfaction point of view, playing your own stuff, you can't beat playing your own stuff, especially if people are vibing off it. That's the best feeling in the world. That said, the band, I mean, that's something I've been doing for many years, and I have had some incredibly amazing life experiences with that. And you don't get the chance to play to thousands of people very often.
Right.
And I'm eternally grateful for that opportunity, and that's come through that band. So yeah, I guess it's about, if you split the satisfaction, it's got to be 50-50 between the two for different reasons. But I think overall you cannot beat the feeling of playing your own music, stuff that's come from you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, because you could see all the homage that's paid towards you during hardware jams, and or I'm just saying, like in Popcorn Night, like you're a heavyweight in the music world for me, myself speaking. Like I am really in tune to your sound, and maybe one of these pairings you and I get together and I learn something. Like I'll learn 80s, like how to play 80s like synth punk or piano. Like I don't know what we would do, but to learn from somebody like you and the JRCs and the Cresties, like to me it's like you couldn't ask for anything more
because of the knowledge base.
Because of the knowledge and it's just a really good fucking sound that you have.
At the end of the day, I mean, I'm more than happy to share whatever I've got to offer with anybody. I'm an open book, so there's no massive ego here. You just come and if you want to do something, hit me up and we'll do it.
Except for that one time you got arrested.
Yeah. Can we just park that, please, Marelyn? Right. But it works both ways. I also would learn loads from working with you, no doubt. And no man's an island. And if somebody thinks that they know everything, then they know nothing. It's as simple as that.
Right.
You're always learning, and there's always something amazing to learn from. Your friends and your fellow musicians. And yeah. Absolutely.
It's funny that's brought up because Seekantron, Andy, has this to say. A question for Simon. How is the Simon Seekantron collaboration coming along?
It's actually nearly finished, Andy. It's nearly finished, mate. I would say that once I've got to do a few little bits of polishing on it over the Christmas break, and then it's done. So, it's done for your approval. So
that's going to be interesting.
Well, I'll tell you what happened with this, because I absolutely love what he does, and he's such a lovely guy as well. And I badgered him to send me some stems, and this was a while ago, to be fair. And he sent me the stems down, and it's taken me ages to do anything about it because, unfortunately, my day job has taken up so much of my time recently. I've been able to put lots and lots of time into the music side of things, so that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, it's he sent me some stems which are wonderful, and I've tried to do something interesting with them. So I'll send the result back to him and see what he thinks, and then if he likes it, then no doubt you'll all be hearing it at some point in the near
I
future.
smell a popcorn jam.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Because this ties in with this.
Sure.
Neil has a question. He says, does Simon record his sets directly into his workstation, or does he use a DAW and transfer it over?
Is this for playing live, you mean?
I think just a general question.
Right, okay. For doing the when I'm doing the EMOMs, which are the live things, I mean, you're basically going out there and you're playing a 15-minute set, so it's a good thing to travel light. You don't want to be setting up, 20 keyboards or whatever to do a gig. So in that instance, what I'll do is record the basically the backing track to whatever, everything that I'm not going to be playing effectively onto a USB stick, and then work out the parts that I'm going to be playing and then program those into the DAW. So, sorry, not into the DAW, into the workstation. So yes, indirectly it does come from the DAW. When I'm doing the hardware jams, it could be a combination of things. A lot of the time they'll emanate initially from just working on the Phantom or my Modex. I might embellish something in the DAW for mastering or whatever, but generally speaking, it'll come from the Phantom or the Modex. Hope that hasn't been too confusing, because I do waffle on when I'm talking.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's good.
Okay. Let me figure out how I'm going to ask this question. Do you see a problem with the way music and musicians and artists currently stand in today's society? And do you have any gripe about what's going on with music in today's age?
Yeah. It's a strange one. I've got a massive problem with the likes of Spotify. Trying to make a living out of being a musician these days is harder than it's ever been when it comes down to actually recording and writing music. Nobody buys music anymore. It's as simple as that. When was the last time you actually went out and bought a CD or?
It's been a while.
A long time.
So what most people will do is they'll subscribe to something like Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. So for a tenner a month, they can play whatever they want to hear, which I guess for most people, let's be honest, what a fantastic thing to do. You could play whatever track you want to play whenever you want to hear it. The downside is that the arseholes that run these companies don't give the musicians anything for it.
Right.
So unless you are, you've got a massive marketing machine behind you, and you're a superstar, there's so much amazing music going missing. Having said that, looking on a more positive side of things, now we have got the internet. You've got far more. It's never ever been easier for somebody to record their music professionally, to actually put a video together professionally or of a professional standard, and to actually get it out there in front of people. So yes, you've got to do a lot of. There's a lot of ball ache goes into actually getting your music out there to enough people, but at least you can get it heard. Whereas in the old days, it would be a case of doing a demo cassette, sending it off to a record company, hoping that they'd listen to it, and chances are they would never listen to it, or they'd just come back to you with a rejection letter. So that's the wonderful thing about channels like your own and hardware jams and all the synth community channels. It's a brilliant way of at least getting your music heard by the people that are on those channels, and then hopefully the word spreads. And I also think that it's really important that if you have got something really cool, you've got to go out and play it live. if you actually really want, if you're really deadly serious about marketing it and making a living out of music, you've got to actually be able to perform your product live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were saying that, not just the live section, but I think now, because we'll never get the way music, how you would, like you said, gamble, throw your demo at someone in hopes that some sort of AR guy would get it and pick it up and give it to the right hands. It really is driving itself to channels like ours and others to support ourselves while using, I hate to say it, YouTube is one of the people that don't pay artists, or they're so against music with their algorithms, so to speak. Nowadays, you're going to have to band together to get things that you want to hear out there, because they're not going to push it the way we push it. Here, you're not going to find Taylor Swift and whatever the radio wants you to hear. Here, you're going to find Simon. You're going to find, the Wookiee. You're going to find things you would normally never hear from people that are so talented that should rightfully be in the spots of Taylor Swift and all these other people. So in that way, I feel like we're blessed, because at least we're not having good music pass us by.
Right.
Exactly that, yeah. And, YouTube, for all its faults, at least it's given you a way of being able to present to however many people you can muster up, whereas you'd never been able to do that even 10 years ago. So we've got all the tools.
Right.
It's just collectively making them all work for us.
Yeah.
And but I also think that there's been a lot of revolutions come out of adversity. So, the punk scene came out of adversity, where Cressy came up with a great point last night, where you got all these amazing bands, all these prog bands with amazing musicians, but the average Joe couldn't do that. So that's what sparked the punk revolution.
Right.
And then out of punk came, your new wave, your new romantics, all that kind of stuff. Then we had another bit of a wobble where, in the back end of the 80s, it was everything had become very heavily corporatized by the record companies. And that's when the dance scene emerged. So it was almost like a second punk scene, where you got people making music on their, 303s and the 808s that they bought from the junk shop, and now that's generated a whole new movement which is still going strong today. And I think the same will happen with the way that we listen to and market music. People are going to get sick of just hearing the same old stuff on Spotify, and musicians are going to get sick of supplying Spotify with stuff that they're never going to get paid for. So it will generate a whole new movement, and somewhere along the line, music's never going to die. Music is such an important part of everybody's life. So it'll never die. So we just got to make sure we find a way to keep it alive.
Yeah.
But how fortunate should we be, though? Like, I'm kind of glad none of us really, I know it's a monetary gain, but you think about it. Some of these big people that have been signed, like all these bands that you come to love, they had their original sound, but then they get signed, and then after that first album, maybe 80% of them go to shit because they're forced now under a deadline to have another album out within 6 months.
Yeah.
And sometimes we all know as musicians, you cannot be creative under a deadline. Now you're telling me it's going to be a job.
Right.
So at some point, do we thank our lucky stars we didn't go that route?
Well, yeah, I think that probably one of the worst things that could happen to you now, especially if you've got a very distinct way that you want to take your music and you want to stay loyal to that, is the worst thing that you could do is get signed.
Yeah.
And there's no reason that you have to get signed, but you have got to be very savvy on the way that you market your product. And there is a lot of fantastic music out there. You've just got to dig around to find it. And well, I think we all know that. I'm preaching to the converted here, but yeah, I think the music business has always been one of the hardest and one of the most frustrating businesses to get into. And there is, I don't care what anybody says, a whole lot of luck involved in becoming successful.
Oh yeah.
And then even if you do get signed, and even if you do become successful in inverted commas, out of that group of people, there's very, very few that actually make it as a long-term career.
Right.
Right.
You know, you can really count those on a few feet and a few hands.
Yeah, like Cressy said, when you get signed, you have, you know, your whole life to write the first album, and then the second one you only have 6 months.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's no way to be. And I think they kind of set you up that way so they can get their writers in, and they can turn you into who they want you to be.
Well, it's
while
not only
using your
that,
face.
they want money right
Yeah,
away,
they have
right?
to turn-
They
right.
need to turn
a
around
coin.
and make money because they're putting so much money into you.
Right.
So now they need to make money.
If you can't do it, we have writers for you.
Yeah.
We just need your look and your sound.
Yeah. I like. I think you have another question. you need to-
Yeah, Cressy has another question. He wants to know, Modex versus Phantom. What does each bring to the party for you?
Right. The Modex, I have to say, is an absolutely amazing piece of kit for the money. Sound quality, portability, just incredible. The only downside with the Modex for me is the keyboard. It's not the worst keyboard I've ever played, but it's certainly not the best. So, but it's fantastic for, you know, sticking it under your arm, turning it up at an EMOM gig or any gig for that matter, and yeah, it can do so much. The Phantom is an absolutely wonderful machine. I didn't go out of my way to actually buy that. It's just the only reason I bought the Phantom was because I was walking past a shop that was closing down, and the Phantom was in the window, and it was literally half price. And I thought, well, I've got to get that. You know, I can't afford it, but I'll just get it. And it is an absolutely beast of a keyboard, and it's got all the every single Roland sound you could possibly imagine. Junos, Jupiter 8s, they're all modelled in there. So yeah, it's an amazing piece of kit. If I hadn't seen one half the price it should have been, I probably wouldn't have bought one, and I'd probably be perfectly happy with the Modex. But the two together, well, what's not to like? It's
You know what I
amazing.
say when people only buy a piece of machinery when it's only half the price? The machine is only half good.
Oh, word.
Right?
like that.
Because you're not willing to pay full price for it.
Right. That means you
So it's
sacrifice something.
Half good.
Yeah. In many ways, I think you're right. In some ways, if you don't have the coin to purchase it, you're gonna wait until you can.
Yeah, but if you're willing to buy like a piece of machine at full price, then you know it's well worth it.
Right.
You're like, yeah,
That's
oh
true.
yeah, I'm absolutely I'm getting that machine. But if you're like, nah, I'm gonna wait.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think just a good point on gear is you could spend so much time lusting after the next piece of gear, and I've been guilty of it myself. I've got so much stuff here, and if I'm absolutely brutally honest, the amount of times I use it, some of the stuff I bought it and I've probably used it twice,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
and for me, it's all about what the end result is that comes out of that stuff, and just really dig deep into what you've got. You don't have to spend loads and loads of money buying the latest stuff.
Yeah.
Just work with what you've got, and you can create amazing things.
Yeah,
Right.
Cressy is so
Adamant
like,
about
yeah.
that. That's one of the. He's one of the few.
Man,
that are like-
what he gets out of an NPC is just absolutely insane.
Right.
It's-
Yeah.
it's
And I
just-
think I think that's the bigger point. What Cressy was also trying to push is your talent is you. The machine is the machine.
Yeah.
But the talent comes from you. You is what's going to make that machine work. You don't need a bunch of it.
Yeah, Cressy just said, "Oh, he sounds like me."
Yeah. But it's the truth. I got a bass hanging up behind Maryland right now that it was once my only thing that I had because it was the only thing that I had. But now that I've stepped up and I got this wonderful instrument here, it's all I play, and it's technically it's my workhorse. It can do whatever I want it to, I want it to do. So it's just like I don't have really other things other than like maybe a fretted fretless, you know. But other than that, this thing I can put a fretless patch on it and get the same sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's amazing to have nice gear, and you know, if you've got something that'll do something better or more comfortably than something else, then fair play. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's the idea and the music that comes out of it. And let's face it, with what's available to us today, you know, even the cheapest stuff can do incredible things. So there's no excuse not to be making music. Don't hold back on making music because you think you've got to buy something else. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Or something expensive. Yeah.
Chris, you said don't just collect.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
Use.
To go back on what we were saying, or what you were saying earlier about music, I look at Symptoms of Reality as a pyramid scheme. The only thing being is most pyramid schemes, they want everybody to get rich, right? But there's some kind of agenda that no one sees to make the upper echelon more money. With Symptoms of Reality, I mean a pyramid scheme as exactly a pyramid scheme without the bullshit and the secrets. The only way we get anywhere is if everyone is willing to build the pyramid. And we have to do it selfishly. And it can work. Like this, it's no reason why, like, in my mind, Hardware Jam started a little amber, right? And we came in with our thing, and we got followers from Hardware Jams, and we didn't get everyone from different avenues and different paths. The people who vibed with it came with us.
Yeah.
And we also went with them. And you're a great example, Simon, on the pyramid scheme, because you found something you liked. In return, that group you liked then took a liking to you and your music without the bullshit behind it. And this fake, oh, I like what you're doing, right? We're invested in each other. Then someone else comes along and it multiplies and it multiplies and it keeps going.
Feeds itself.
It
feeds itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's and in my mind, there's no reason why, if we kept this going and we pushed it as hard as we can, we all would receive literally hundreds, if not thousands, of followers if we just behave to the system for what it is.
Do you know what I think? I think it's a case of you could spend your whole life chasing this elusive sort of ultimate goal. But every night when, you know, you guys broadcast, or when we go into hardware jams or whatever, just that time is golden. Do you know what I mean? We're there already.
Right.
We're already reaping the rewards of it. And if that expands and gets bigger, then fantastic. But we're already winning the battle.
Right.
We just gotta do more of it and encourage more people to do it. And
Yes.
Yeah.
don't chase something that
You already
actually
have.
we don't really know what goal we're trying to arrive at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Take money out of it completely. If you do music for money, forget it. Because
You're lost.
Right.
yeah,
You've
you
lost
do
the-
music for the love. And if money comes as a result of that, fantastic. Bonus.
And I think that's most of us, right? Like, we all have day jobs. We know that.
Yeah.
I think it's no secret. Everyone here today knows we're not going to get rich from this.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
We're here
Unless you're lucky and win the lottery.
Right. But
Yeah.
most of us are here for a couple things. For our sound to get heard, to push other people to continue to go,
Yeah.
and to help those who have no one viewing their content. That's the only reason why I'm in it personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm finding there, and people are going to get tired of me saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it. I'm at my happiest, not when I'm creating music for someone else, but when I'm there viewing someone else's content and there's absolutely no one there for that individual.
And you're digging their
To
sound.
see their face is
Yep.
always amazing to me.
Yeah, to
I'm not
light up.
expecting them to come follow me. I come in as Trusto 101. When you look up Trusto 101, there's shit all to be had at Trusto 101.
Yeah, there's nothing to view.
YouTube channel.
Yep.
There's nothing there for you. There's no content. I don't want you to return anything to me. You know, like this is for me. And if my wife goes to your channel and you happen to see symptoms of reality, she's not there fucking marketing symptoms of reality. She's there because I said, or my brother said, hey, you got to go to this channel. Or Tracker Jack said, hey, look at what I found, you know? And then that's why we're there.
And this is why this beats the record or the music industry, because at least on YouTube, I can support you by subscribing. Maybe we can't buy CDs anymore.
Yeah, and
but
push that
I can
algorithm.
hit the fucking like button on my way in, and I can subscribe.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then by me doing that, I know a person that could do that.
Yes.
And it goes back to what you're saying, Simon. It feeds itself.
And just a point on that as well, there's a lot of people got stuff on Bandcamp.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
Sync's a great example of this. And he'll put all his stuff up free of charge. Now, if somebody's putting their music up free of charge and there's an option to give something to it, give something to it.
Yeah.
Right, donate.
You know,
Yeah.
Especially if you like it, yeah.
Absolutely, because it's we have to attach some kind of value, not just necessarily monetary value, but just some appreciation value to what people are creating, because that's come from them. It's time, the effort, the creativity that's gone into it. If you like what they're doing and you enough to actually download it, then give them something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
For reals.
And the other point about the community side of things is, yeah, we're all out to push our music and hopefully get it heard and stuff. But I tell you what, in the short time that I've been involved in this community, I've made some amazing friends as well.
Right.
Through the EMOMs, through through the hardware jams, whatever, and that's a massive thing. Especially, frankly, the older you get, it's important that you make friendships,
connections, yes,
and friendships. You help each other out, and
Right.
and that's another massively important thing about this. So yeah, just wanted to say that.
Oh no,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and that's like you said it right when you said we're already there. And sometimes, if I'm honest, I do lose sight of that because I'm still worried about like, hey, I want people to hear this, and I'm trying to get this out there, and we can go further. And sometimes you just lose the sight that you've already made it. Like
Right.
if you just take time and look around and see what you're doing and see where we are in this small community, when is big going to be enough? Like you said, when is enough
Absolutely.
enough? At what point do you
And I-
stop chasing that and celebrate the moment that you've made it?
Absolute. That is, you've hit the nail on the head there, mate. Live life for the moment, because I spent so many years of my life chasing a dream which I didn't really know what I was chasing. And then at some point, actually, when I hit 50, that was a milestone for me. I thought, fuck it, from now on, I'm going to enjoy every moment of my life as it is, because this is what I've got, and really appreciate what you've got in life at that point. So your family, whatever music you're doing, whatever opportunities you're given, just make the most of it, and don't chase a dream. That's not to say you can't develop something and make it better, but just don't live in anticipation of that thing that might never happen.
Right.
What was the moment that made you flip? That made you say, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna enjoy life. What am I chasing? I don't even know what I'm chasing." What was that moment for you that made it flip?
As I say, it was when I was hit 50. Don't know, really weird. It wasn't a sort of conscious thing. It's just my mindset about all sorts of different things has changed since I've been in my 50s.
Yeah.
I suppose it's you start getting older. You're on the you're on the down. You're on the down. You've hit your peak and you're on the down. But you've got to make sure that you don't go on the down. You've got to keep yourself young in the head and active
Yes.
and everything. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people I know that have gone the wrong way once they've hit a certain age, and you're actually in the prime of your life when you're in post 50. And I mean, in my head, I'm still 18 years old. I'm still,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still a lunatic in my head, and there's still lots of things I want to do. And so, but yeah, it's really important because life is short, to enjoy and appreciate every moment, because you only get one go at it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely stopped chasing dreams when I was in my 50s. And do you know what? Since I've stopped chasing this dream, there's so many more things that I've actually ended up doing and enjoying and really vibing off,
Right.
which I wasn't doing before when I was trying to chase this elusive thing that I didn't really know what I was looking for.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get sidetracked on this narrow path, this tunnel vision, proverbial tunnel vision, and
Yeah,
you
you
don't
get
even
these
see
horse
the
blinders on, right?
and you don't
Yeah.
even see the opportunities on the outside, and you're just so focused on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
exactly.
sometimes that is so easier said than done, right? Because somebody's chemical makeup just won't let them stop and see that. Like it'll just constantly gnaw and gnaw until they've, I guess, you reach this breaking point.
Right.
But I'm sure some don't. I'm sure some go to their grave.
Yeah.
Cressy wants me to tell Simon something.
Okay.
He says, tell Simon loved his imam the other day, especially the opening track.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, bless
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Right.
Yeah,
thanks,
I
Chrissy.
went-
I really appreciate that, man. And I love what you're doing as well. You know that. I keep telling you.
Yeah, I went back and watched it again.
That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
I think we all love each other's style and vibe, and it's
Genuinely too. It's
genuinely
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
It's not just blowing up somebody's asses, for
Yeah.
the set. There is some absolutely banging stuff coming out of this community. You
Oh,
guys, you guys included. It's like there's absolutely amazing stuff happening.
Yeah.
And like I say, what more do we want? We're already there. We're doing it. Let's just
Exactly.
keep sharing ideas,
Right.
sharing what we create, and make people happy.
Yeah, like Kent said it yesterday. He was just blown away by popcorn night. He was so
I was seriously blown
impressed.
away by him last
Yeah.
night as well.
Right.
Man, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple of people in the chat that claimed the tears on their face was due to onions. I don't believe
James
that.
Tyson being one of them.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, it was. When we were talking about dreams, and after this, I kind of want to switch the subject off of music and get into this other topics while we still have the time. But to me, chasing the dream is you. If you're saying you're chasing a dream, you've already conquered it. Now you're chasing something else. If you're chasing the dream, you've lost the dream.
Yeah.
Because once you arrive at a certain destination, I knew I wanted to play music. Lamar knew he wanted to play music. Once we got there and we were playing music, him and I, not even sharing it, the dream was
already started.
accomplished.
Yep, the dream
it
was
was
already complete.
accomplished.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to chase. Now I call this the bonus
Yeah,
process.
every stage, every day after is the bonus
It's
process.
bonus. It's now where does it go once we've obtained the proverbial space pirate ship full of monkeys from Monkey Island? Where does it go? And who are we going to interact with our?
Probably go around to frickin' the land of samurai or some
Right.
crazy ass wild story.
You
there.
know, like what happens when you've obtained something and you're like, okay, this is bonus hour. That's when I think you've shedded a part of your ego and a part of yourself, and you've all of a sudden had this epiphany, oh, I've obtained it already. Like now let's go and share it. Let's go and bring people, and let's go find friends, and let's do projects together.
I would have, but I don't know about you, Simon, but I would have never have thought by joining these others channels, this would be a thing. I would sit here and not be able to sit and speak with Simon, one of the baddest fucking players that I know that I'm fortunate to speak with. Like I feel fortunate and lucky to be in a situation to where I can have conversations with these people.
Right.
you know?
Or like yesterday, sitting here with Cresthead and Kent,
Right.
you know, and actually playing music with these people and listening to them create things and seeing how beautiful one's mind is.
Yeah.
I was watching Uncle Chrome. He released something yesterday, and it was an hour long.
I loved every minute of it.
And I have to ask this, is Chrome in the chat?
Yeah.
I have to ask this to Uncle Chrome. That 58 minutes of sheer insanity you created was so beautiful. And I spent the time to watch and listen to every ounce, because here at S.O.R, the three of us, we are very patient people. We don't have this issue where our attention spans are small. Shit, we even listened to Simon Greatbatch's playlist after we fucking tortured him over it on mini walks.
Yeah,
mini walks.
Yeah, we had to force Simon to
Right.
give us a decent playlist.
But Uncle
Thank
Chrome,
you, Simon.
but Uncle Chrome, what you did was beautiful. Here's our question to you. Was that for us? Was that for the Symptoms of Reality crew?
And also, the battle for Waterloo, was
I'm
that
convinced it was
Napoleon's
for us. I don't care what he says.
Napoleon's downfall? Because I looked it up after
Mm-hmm.
watching that segment, and I shared it with Mads. And was that for Napoleon's downfall, his defeat?
Yeah, he had the horses. He had Simply Risky in there. For those of you who haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it. Don't.
I just have to ask him that question. Were we in his mind?
I put in the comments. I said, I think this is made for us
Mm-hmm.
and for us, and I don't care if that sounds big-headed.
Right.
I still think it's for us.
But that's what I got. Like, we live in Waterloo. You know, we're into horses. He put a Simply Risky thing. All these things, it just seemed like the man spent time when he did that. He was thinking about us.
He's one of those undercover egghead Einstein ass geniuses in the family. Where
he said, I make all my music for me.
Okay.
If you happen to enjoy it too, you have my sympathies.
Good God.
son of a bitch, Chrome. A smart
that-
ass answer too.
No, that's fine. That to me means that you know, he was thinking of us.
Yeah.
So I'll just chalk it up as he was thinking.
That's
of us.
what I got from it, and that's what I'm sticking
Yeah,
with. Because
so
he's a genius like
He
that.
says, you are part of me.
Mm-hmm.
See? Waterloo, not for you, but now that you mentioned it, sheesh.
Synchronicity.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, the
see?
synchronicity in that.
So it's all synchronicity in that.
And you know what's funny, Uncle Chrome, that you didn't realize it, the Battle of Waterloo was also involved the horses in the background, and the fellas are farriers.
Yeah, we
They
deal
deal
with
with
horses
horses.
for a living.
You need to get Uncle Chrome on for an interview.
Oh,
Yes.
we will.
Oh, yeah.
We will.
So
he's,
our
he's
hopes,
coming in.
Our hopes, and I hope I don't scare people in their chat. Our hope is to, because like the fellas have said this before, the famous people for us are the people in our S.O.R family community. So our hope is to interview every single individual in our S.O.R community.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is our goal. So we're ticking off names
Ticking off
as
names.
we go.
And I'm glad you signed up,
I
Simon.
was
'cause
okay. So Simon doesn't know this, but I really love his music. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love his music. And when he put in the Discord that he said, "Oh, I'm in,"
Mm-hmm.
and then I sent up a private message and I was like, "Well, when can you do it?"
yeah.
And I'm like Saturday, like the weekend.
Sunday?
He's like, "Well, Sunday I'm available." I'm like, "You want to do it this Sunday?" He was like, "Yeah, it's fine." I was like so excited. Do you remember when we finished that?
You were like, you're not going to believe who
Believe who
wants to
we
come
got.
on. Who's putting themselves in Monkey Island.
I was like, oh my God. To me,
And I-
it was like the celebrity like signed up.
And it's so cool because we're fans of ourselves, but like how we hold people above us.
Right.
And you just like,
Yeah,
what
I'm
fucking
a-
Simon says he's going to come on our
yeah,
show?
Yeah.
I was so giddy. So I've been giddy since Simon said yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man! And how much of a fucking letdown has it been for you now?
Oh no, I,
No.
I mean,
I'm loving
you know.
this.
Yeah.
I'm loving this.
I mean, if you don't want it to be a letdown, there is a story you can tell me.
Okay. They always say, hey, kid, never meet your hero.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's change gears here a little bit. Simon, are you a religious person, or do you have a faith in something And you don't have to be too descriptive if you don't want to. It's just a
No,
general question.
I don't subscribe to a religion.
Mm-hmm.
I think religion is the cause of so much shit in the world. Because at the end of the day, I believe they're just man-made codes of ethics to force people down a certain direction.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe in God, because to me, God is everything that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And there's got to be something bigger than us. And that's about as far as... And that's God to me. So...
Okay.
That's about a shared experience
That's
with,
it, yeah.
with, you know, as we move along in time, it's starting to become more of a shared experience, your thought process of your spirituality. A lot of people, they say, are moving away from the book and starting to find God within themselves and everything that coexists around them.
Mm-hmm. Like I believe in the universe. I call it the universe. You call it God. I think it's the same thing.
It's the same, exactly the same.
You
So
know?
basically, like I say, for me, God is everything that we don't understand or comprehend. You know,
Right.
the things that are bigger than us. Because I think the day that we understand how everything works is the day that we cease to exist.
Right. Or you're literally cutting yourself off from the source. You know, why, if there is a God or the universe is real like we think it is, if you sever yourself from the source, then I literally believe you don't exist in that paradigm anymore, because you chose to sever yourself from.
Or can you actually do that? Is that even a possible thing?
Right.
You can't sever yourself from the universe which created everything.
Bye, Uncle Chrome.
Yeah.
Bye, Chrome.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Okay. So with that question being had, have you ever experienced anything that challenged your thought process on this reality, visually or physically? Anything profound or you would consider to be
An apparition or a sign.
I do think about, you know, it depends what I've been smoking at the time, I suppose. But like, you definitely. There are times, appropriate times, you do have deep thoughts about things, and you know, what's all this about? And especially if you're on a bit of a downer, that's a time when you tend to think a lot more clearly about things a bit deeper than your everyday life, and puts perspective on things. And I've never had a specific incident that's made me think, whoa, you know, it's been a life-changing experience or anything, but I'm definitely not one of these people that just sort of doesn't think, you know, a bit below the surface. And I think I don't even know what I'm trying to say here, but I think it's nice to have a bigger outlook on things outside of the, you know, the immediate reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
have you experienced anything that questioned the reality, your reality?
There's things you've only got to look at the you know, the shit that's going on in the world today to actually think, you know, question reality. You know, I mean, some of the things just beg a belief that are being allowed to happen. But and a lot of that is down to the traditional mainstream religions that are imposed on us. In my opinion, I don't want to. I really don't want to offend anybody.
You're speaking your mind. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah.
Fuck everyone else. This is you.
But to be a out and out anti-religious and you know, dismiss anything higher than us, I think is a bit narrow-minded, because
Right. Yeah.
you know, there has to be something bigger than us.
Right.
Because
Right.
what are we at the end of the day?
Right.
Right.
And that actually, when you actually analyse it, what are we as individuals? Think of the biggest star you can think of, you know, or the biggest personalities or the biggest leaders in the world. When you actually break it down and you zoom out on the planet, they're nothing. We're nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So then you think,
Smaller
well,
than a speck of sand.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So then that even more brings me back to what I was saying earlier. Fuck it, just enjoy every minute of it because it really doesn't matter. You know, when I'm gone, it doesn't matter. Nobody's gonna, you know, after the initial sort of furor in the family that I've gone, nobody's gonna care. And unfortunately, that's the same over different amounts of times for everybody. We're nothing. So make the most of it because we are, you know, we're sentient. We understand. We're actually conscious of the experiences that we're having. So make all of those experiences good as they possibly can be.
Yeah.
Which is
true.
ironic. Which is ironic because our thoughts and concerns are so much bigger than what we. We hold our worries so much bigger than what we actually are.
Yeah.
It's almost
We make them that way.
We make
right?
them that way, and it's almost
that's right.
it's almost comical because it's not forever.
Or
It's so temporary.
or the people make you worry.
Yes,
You know,
Right.
and it's those people that you need less of in your life. You know, if you're getting stressed, it's like me. I'm a proper stressor to get stressed about stuff at work all the time. And then sometimes I think, why am I getting stressed about this? What is the worst thing that's going to happen?
Right.
And you know, it's so you know,
it's never the person that you dislike, right? It's always, if you're honest with yourself, it's not that because John is an asshole and you hate or you dislike his persona or who he is. It's what about me that hates John? Because John is obviously who he is. So the problem is, if I'm looking at myself, right. The problem is me. Why do I give a shit what this other human being is like?
Right.
Why does it affect me so much when I can just not associate with it?
What's the issue with me at this point?
Right.
Yeah, and that's what I always say. Like we as individuals are so powerful because if we don't like something or whatever, we have the power to walk away,
Turn it
turn it off,
Right.
not respond.
Right. Right.
Don't consume that of which is not making us happy. Like, why do we always have to be so like?
And just ignore it. Like, how come you just can't ignore it?
Or
Why do you have to have an imprint on it?
Or have a short memory. You
Yeah,
know?
there you
I
go.
think a lot of it is just have a short memory and just realize at the end of the day, we are all humans and none of us have it fucking right.
Let me ask you this, since we're in this bigger than ourselves topic. Right now in the U.S., we're going through something on our eastern coast in New Jersey, New York, and I think it's spreading now. To
Even in
other-
the UK.
Yeah, even in the UK and other states.
Real quick, Cressy said, "Stop doing things that you don't like."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tracy is always a fan of the simplicity of everything.
you don't have time to worry about the other shit. Focus on the shit that you love. But what does Simon do? Because here we have, it's drones. They're saying it's drones, but if you listen to people on the street, they're saying it's not drones. They look like squids. They look like transparent this. They change shapes and colors, and they move at a pace and speed that they
Never seen
before. Now you can these are like you can believe it or you cannot. But there's always a part of me that says
There's some truth
there's
in
some
there.
truth in everything.
James Dyson says it's trust a 101.
It is me, James.
It's gotta be. It's
Stop
gotta be.
telling people, James. Go ahead.
What
I'll tell you what my take on it is. And I was
Yeah.
having this conversation with a mate of mine the other day, and he's a bit of a conspiracy theorist and a bit of a tinfoil hat helmet or whatever they call them, but
Tinfoil hat.
tinfoil hat, yeah. And
Yeah.
I love him to bits, though. He's our sound engineer, so I can't piss him off, otherwise he'll sound shit.
Oh, yeah, no,
so,
don't do that.
But basically, if you think about it, all the way through history, we're always told by whatever our governments are, there's always got to be a demon or a bogeyman.
Yes.
So right the way through your lives, if you think about it, there's always been something to worry about. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know, over the last 10 years, there's been Al Qaeda was the bogeyman, then it was ISIS, then now it's Putin and whatever, and the same things, you know, conversely. So in Russia, it's the Zelensky's the bogeyman or whatever, and these things carry on bubbling along, and they change. Sort of, it's almost like a fashion, you know. this for the next 6 months, the bogeyman's going to be this. It's got to the point now where there's so much shit going on in the world where the only thing that's actually going to stop everyone doing their individual terrible things to each other and make everyone unite is by saying, right, well, actually, we've got a big problem here, all of us, because we're getting attacked by aliens. Right? And it sounds ridiculous. But the thing is, all of a sudden, we started getting, even on the mainstream media, reports of sights of UFOs, of aliens, and even government people actually making statements about it. That's never happened before. And I think all of this stuff is about actually creating this new bogeyman, which is having to make all of us come together. So it solves all of the other problems. Just a bit of a mad hat theory, but
no, hear me out.
there's some
Simon.
mileage in it.
It's funny
hear me
because Biscuit said the same thing too.
Yeah.
Like it's all about fear, and what happens when you have a community that's fearful, they're easily controlled.
Right.
And
I
James
believe
said-
that.
I think some.
One of the most
said that
one of the most evil men in the world, Hermann Goering. He actually wrote a book, and he said the best way to control people is fear.
Yeah.
And they nailed that pretty well, didn't they?
Yeah.
And we've always known that because Rome and the Persians were very successful at it.
Right.
Very successful at it.
Right.
And I want you guys to humor me on this. Suppose it's literally out of our government's hands, and let's just say that there's an extraterrestrial species that's been on this planet far longer than we have. And let's just say these sightings that we're seeing is a mass conditioning of the times to come, to where we now have to ponder that we're living with an extraterrestrial race that's visiting us. How does that change your psyche, and how does that shift your paradigm if tomorrow they're not attacking us as of now, but if tomorrow you wake up and over every major metropolis there's a mothership? How does that change Simon's behavior? What do you think it does to our civilization as a whole?
As long as we continue to be able to play our musical instruments and make music, then I don't give a shit, to be honest. It's got to be it's got to be better than what we're going through at the moment. And I think if they got the intelligence and the technologies to put motherships over our cities, then they're going to have a lot more intelligence than the people that are currently running our countries.
Beautiful. Because that tells me Simon's not afraid of a fucking thing, and his agenda is clear. I'm still going to be me, do what I do, but you're not going to put me in fear, so you could continue to point me in a direction I have to be in.
If I'm an extraterrestrial civilization and I'm trying to desensitize the masses who have been lied to their whole species, and you want to see them flourish and be loving toward each other, I think that it's a comfortable path to say, okay, let's just show up in specs. Yeah, they're going to say it's drones. Okay, couple months after they've digested that, let's show up in bigger craft. Let's just hang around, get them used to it, and then in a few more months, let's just show up in our granular self, our bigger self. And after that, let's introduce ourselves after we've desensitized these people and alleviated the blindfold. And if they came out and said, we're not going to touch anything about your civilization, but you're at a pivotal point right now of destruction, and your destruction could lead to something bigger than just your planet. And so we're here saying you can have a flourished and wonderful world without our input, but we have to make it known that you're not alone and you're bigger than what you are. Is anybody opposed to that notion?
As our video humanity is playing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. That's.
Isn't that the way? Have you watched Three Body Problem?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally the way that's going. So that whole concept, and this, I mean, you think about it all through all through time, the films that we've been shown, like Terminator. I mean, Christ, Terminator is almost complete reality these days.
Right.
With AI and Skynet and all this kind of stuff. So we've been told and we've been given all these clues all the way through our lives, and we choose to ignore them, and it's our own fault if we do nothing about it. So you know, there might be an awful lot of truth in things like three-body problem. Who knows?
Yeah.
So you think we've been conditioned
I think we've been conditioned.
prior to all this?
Oh,
And
from
I
a
would
long time
agree.
ago,
I
yeah.
would agree. Steven Spielberg's The Third Kind. Was it
Close Encounter of
the
the
Third Kind?
Yeah.
I totally agree with that notion.
Steve Elbow says, "What if the aliens have awful taste in music?"
Fuck, we're fucked.
Or what if they have the baddest fucking synthesizers known to
Yeah.
man?
James Dyson said, "Check out the quote-unquote drones pictured in Roman art carvings, drawings, etc."
And let's-
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. What do you think about that, Simon?
Yeah.
I know you've seen a lot of artwork in the period with the 1600s and up.
How old do you think I am?
No, but I know you view. God damn it, Simon! I know you view these things. You're not a. You don't strike me as a dumb person. I know you viewed some of these things and had to have a question in your mind, going, "Huh."
Well, that looks like a UFO in biblical times.
Because if they're
Well,
not, go ahead.
I'm no expert by any means. You know, I wouldn't say I've thrown myself into it in any massive way, but you've only got to look at the pyramids and what the Egyptians and the Incas, you know, all these, and the Peruvian ancient civilizations. Just the way that they constructed their whole civilizations. Look at the artwork in the Egyptian stuff. There's, you know, arguably UFO, well, if space orientated or extraterrestrial orientated references in that as well. So yeah, absolutely. I think you've got to be pretty stubborn not to believe that there isn't other life out there somewhere.
Oh,
Right.
You know, how can there not be? How can there not
Right.
be? But again, it goes back to what I was saying earlier. I don't understand. I'll never understand it. So that's God's department. So that's what I see as God. Everything that
Right.
I don't understand. But I think you can go down a rabbit hole, and you can get really
Yes.
wound up about all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And you can actually get yourself into a bit of a mental pickle about it. So actually, you just, you know, don't.
Don't
There's
worry,
nothing
yeah.
there's nothing we could do about it.
Do it,
There's
Chrissy,
nothing.
and don't worry
We-
about
we-
it.
Don't,
we
just
had-
don't worry about it.
We
Yeah.
had this conversation yesterday, Mads. Remember?
Yeah.
I asked Mads. I said, "Hey, if you had the choice, do you tell people UFOs and aliens are here, or do you just wait until the aliens and UFOs just present themselves? How would you have it?" And it's the same. Do you want to know when you're going to die, or do you just want to be surprised? What's the case for you, Simon?
Well, if somebody said to me that, or if the door went and there was an alien there saying, "All right, mate, you know, I couldn't think of anything more amazing to happen." If I ended up getting killed in that moment because they didn't particularly like us for whatever reason, then actually the fear of that happening is far worse than the actual event itself. So, yeah, but why even take up mind space worrying about it? Because
Right.
there's
Exactly.
nothing. If
Yeah.
that it did happen, what are you going to do?
Yeah,
Get off
that-
my land! Get off my land!
Yeah,
You can't do
right.
anything about it.
Yeah,
so,
right, yeah.
And that's what I was saying. I was saying to Lamar, I'm like, you know, if the government isn't telling people for whatever reason, I happen to agree with that, because I think at the end of the day, anticipation is what's going to kill people, not the actual event, because
Yeah.
it's the fear. It's the, oh my God, it's going to happen. It's like this, and this. It's the stress
Look
of
at
it all,
COVID.
right?
Yeah.
The anticipation is what's going to end
Right.
up killing people.
And it's not like it's something we dwell on in doom and gloom, right? Because, and this is in my mind, if there are these crazy entities that are coming here to kill us, we wouldn't know about it anyways, because their technology was so far superior than ours. If they really wanted us gone, we'd be dead yesterday and had no idea what happened to us.
yeah, like
right?
Prometheus just say, why worry about things you have no control
Right,
over?
but here's
Exactly. That's
but
it.
here's
Yeah.
but here's where I'm going with it. I have a very fascinating mind into where I love to think fantasy And I love to think, oh, what if this happened? Or, oh, what if that happened? I don't think about it in a thing that would worry me to death or it's causing detriment to my mental.
Yeah.
I look at it as, man, I would love to be alive to see this, because I don't ever see things like that being
Wondersome.
a nefarious thing.
Right.
I don't look at things to be nefarious and just negative. That's not me. It's not my mindset.
Yeah.
You know, I look at things in wonder and awe, like Lewis and Clark when they were exploring the U.S. They had a wonder of what things would be like, and they wouldn't know if they didn't go out and explore the idea or physically get out
And I'm sure they thought about, oh, we could be freaking attacked by Indians or whatever or whatnot. But it was the wondrous thought. And I think as humans, we're like these naturally wondersome, curious creatures, right? Like, what a hell of a time to be living if we are presented at the dawn of an age of a new transition of human existence where we meet extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
Right.
What a better time to be alive to say, I witnessed that in the physical form.
Right.
Yeah, Echo Craft has a good comment, and I happen to agree with this. I think they've already been here. I think they've been here for years and years, and I think they walk among us already.
Right.
And that is a possibility.
I
Like,
always, I always say if we're plausible, anything is possible.
Yeah. You always say something really good, babe. You always say, if you see it in the movies, it's already happened.
Right.
right.
Yeah.
It's a good chance.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There. I mean, why wouldn't it? If you look at Back to the Future too. Right.
Yep.
Look at Sharknado.
Look at Sharknado.
yeah.
Right?
God damn it,
Jeez.
Simon.
I mean,
That's a scary one.
pisses down sharks in Staffordshire all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Yep.
Right. But metaphorically, if you look at Sharknado, you could find things that have happened. You know, like, it doesn't take a genius. It just takes a person willing to think outside the box to put two and two together. Like, a lot of this stuff is not, it's not based on for us not to get. I just think people are so gullible nowadays where we've been tuned out from each other to where we just think everything one of us says is absolute horseshit.
Yeah.
Where there's substance within all of us. Now, are there those who take things too crazy? Conspiracy theorists? Absolutely.
Oh, I was just gonna
They travel on a road that is a one-way road,
Yeah.
and they don't want information coming back at them.
Davey is doing the Terrence Howard math now in the chat. Don't do that, Davey. Or Davey, sorry, Davey. Don't do that. 2 and 2 equals 5. That's wrong.
Oh my God.
And don't believe everything you see online. Like,
or
you
on
know,
TV, period. Yeah.
because a lot of those videos that you see, I'm like, I always tell you,
I could do that in Da Vinci.
Yeah, all the time, all the time. I'm like, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Something that really does worry me at the moment, which is a bit more sort of easy to sort of comprehend, but we've got a real problem here in the UK at the moment with kids going around stabbing each other and murdering people.
Right.
Like kids, we're talking.
Yep.
There was a thing on the news the other day. Like a 12-year-old kid had stabbed an old man to death. What is going on?
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that never happened when I was, that I can remember, and it's only something that's sort of manifested itself here in the last 10 years. But the kids seem to have, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all kids are like this, because kids get a bad rap, in my opinion, a lot of the time. But there is a very worrying movement of this horrendous behaviour.
That's something genius, Simon, because I don't know if you know how genius that is that you just picked up on with what's going on in the UK. People are so concerned about what's going to happen that's not even on this planet. And all of the negative things that's going to happen to us when something comes to visit us. We are our own fucking nightmare.
I was going to say,
we are
Exactly.
already doing it to each other.
I was like, why are you worried about being zapped by and probed by an alien when you could just look at our own human existence and look at the nasty, gruesome shit we've done to ourselves?
Yeah, like-
and you're afraid of aliens?
Yeah, we don't need any outsource to come and do what we're already doing to ourselves.
Exactly.
Like, when do we, as a society, I like to say, yeah, we're everyone in here right now, including the chat room and on the screen, we're all a little bit fucking crazy and weird. True. But when as a society do we recognize our own flaws and stop pointing fingers at other sources like, oh, AI is going to take over the world, and do what? Do the same thing we're fucking doing to each other now?
Yeah, because we've taught it to do that. That's
Right.
So like, but the thing is, it's exactly my point. Sort your own shit out first before you start worrying about what was, another, sort of alien race is going to do.
Right.
Get your own house in order. When kids are going around killing each other,
It's a problem.
young kids, that's a serious fucking problem.
Yeah, or shooting each other in the States.
Yeah, exactly. So why can't we fix that? And most people, I think I put this in a comment the other night when we were having a similar discussion, but the one thing that does make me feel good about living in this world is that 99% of people are all decent people. They're all we're all live the similar kind of lives in different kind of circumstances. We've all got the same basic outlook, same basic understanding of what's right and what's wrong. That's most people. The overwhelming majority of people are like that. The problem is that small percentage of people that are arseholes that have this hold over the rest of us. And that's what we've got to root out. And we've got to root out all the rot that inflicts our kids to make them want to go out and kill somebody. And simple as that. You just got to nip that in the bud and the world will be a better place.
And why, oh, why do, like you said, the 99% of us let these 1% control us? Why does the masses have this succumb to the people in power gene and just say enough is enough? We want our planet back. We want to be one united species.
We want peace now.
We don't want fictitious borders. We don't want nuclear freaking weapons. We don't want famine. We want everybody to have a meal, have a home. At what point do the people wake up and say, this is the life that we inherently were supposed to have, and now the life that we want?
Right, because I don't mind hard work. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind hard work. I don't mind working for society. I don't mind working for the betterment of people.
Ants do it every day.
But why are we doing this to each other?
Right.
Why are you charging me for a bottle of water? Why are you charging me for food? Why are you charging me for shelter out of the elements?
California at one point was considering charging their residents for air.
For air.
Yeah.
Necessities of life.
And that's not a fucking joke.
Yeah.
We got so many things wrong as people, but we got so
How
many
they were
things
going
right.
to regulate that, I have no idea.
Right.
How they were going to regulate air.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, it'll never change. But we can change things by doing stuff individually. And first of all, I mean, one of the things I've stopped doing, because frankly, it's just depressing me. I've stopped listening to mainstream media news.
Oh gosh, us too.
Because it's almost like an insult to your intelligence.
It is.
But also, just I don't know, just trying to. Seriously, I'm definitely not perfect by any means, but trying my best to give in as much as I get out, and don't. If everyone's not on the take all the time, and we're there to help each other, then that's cool. And just try not to do any bad to people, because I know that sounds a bit like I'm in Miss World or something. It's not meant to sound like that, very idealistic. But individually, if we change things for the better, then if everyone does that, then collectively everything's going to be better. But we'll never, unfortunately, overcome this. Us having borders or us having these idiots that come to power somehow or other. There's always going to be them. There's always going to be them because of the nature of our species. But we can try and make things a bit better by making changes individually to ourselves.
Yes, and I hope there's some bureaucrat or some lobbyist actually watching this. Yeah. And not to speak ill of them, but the change starts with you. It's got to be infectious within that kind of community for it to spread like a cancer.
Yeah, because there's a YouTube channel that's out right now that I love to watch, and the YouTube channel is called Seek Discomfort. and you'll hear it come out of our mouths a lot. But they go around proving to the world that people in every country are the same. It's those that are in power that have this ideation about them that want to keep us separate. And there was an article out recently that once this Google AI platform comes out on everyone's phone, it's going to, you'll be able to put some earbuds in. And if you're speaking with someone of a different dialect, you will be immediately hearing what he is saying in your language. And if this person has the same software, they can hear what you're saying in your language instantaneously. Instantaneously. Do you know what that means? It means now the people can communicate with each other, and there's no mainstream media as a barrier drawing up this weird fucking narrative that we don't like each other. We're going to start finding out how much more we have in common.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, this is one of the reasons in the past why I didn't want to go to another country, because our country will tell you everybody hates Americans.
Yeah, because of what the media
Fear
tells
here.
you.
Yeah, fear here.
there.
Don't
Yeah.
go there.
Yeah.
Don't do, because they hate you there.
Right.
Yeah. Prometheus has a question for Simon. So for the knife crime culture that's happening, has it always been there, or are you hearing it more now because of the advances of media?
It's a good point. It's a good point. Has it always been there? I'm sure back in the sort of Victorian times or whatever, that, you know, things were a lot worse at that point. But I've certainly not, to have kids killing each other.
Right.
Just the way that, you know, when I think back to when I was a kid, you know, we weren't angels by any shot, but, like, you know, we'd certainly never consider going around and murking somebody with a knife.
Right.
But that's sort of standard. Even if it's just said in bravado, that's sort of standard. You know, mindset of some of these of kids these days.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like it's an accepted fact that some people are going to carry a knife, and you've got to take a knife around with you to protect yourself. But then, what? You know,
Yeah.
that just didn't happen when I was a kid, and you
That's
know,
insane. But I think Prometheus' question brings up a good point too. Is that I think it's probably more prevalent now. It may have not happened previously, but I think it's happening more now because of media. I think these kids nowadays,
yeah.
more and more at a younger age, are introduced to media.
Right.
Kids as young as 6 have their own phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kids at the age of 6 are teaching their grandparents how to use their own phones.
Right.
So I'm not surprised that this is happening, because they have such great access to media, and everything is on social media.
And it's information age, right?
Yeah.
They're like, our kids are consuming information at a faster rate than we did when we were young.
And going to school, like there's things
Yep.
that are being taught at school. A kid can get it now from Google,
Right.
at free.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's information age. We had to read encyclopedias or hope that some poor bastard went to Africa in the jungle and found
documented
certain
it.
species and
Right.
documented it, you know? And you had to read and understand what you were reading. Like, there was context in books. There was much more context in the book than there is in social media.
Yeah.
Social media is a instant gratification thing. That's why a lot of people have short attention spans. And I know, speaking for the three of us, we pride ourselves with going to a channel and parking there. If we're not multi-streaming on a task where I'm watching this person and I'm watching this person, we pride ourselves of just parking ourselves there, viewing the content, and not going, oh my God, when is this over?
Right.
Because if you're in that position and if you're in that mindset, you've already lost the fucking game. Where has your patience gone? You know, where has that Where has that give people a chance? Where
Right.
has it gone?
Now it's instant, like you said it. Nowadays it's instant gratification. How soon and how quick can you give me gratification? Because my life is busy doing.
I give you
shit
2
else.
minutes. I give you 2 minutes. No? Okay, I'm moving on.
YouTube practices that, don't they? Do YouTube shorts.
Right.
Make your videos this long. You know?
And it's catering to
And it's
it.
catering to
Right.
the short attention span. It's not saying have good, long, quality content that speaks about something.
Right. There's a question we asked, in closing, and we may run a little bit over people. Get Jervis is coming on next. You do not have to stay here and watch this. I know I don't have to tell you that, but Get Jervis is coming on next. If you want to go view that content, please go over to Get Jervis. He's coming on in 7 minutes, but we may go over. Okay.
We'll try to wrap it up.
And
soon.
are you
pressed
good
for
on
time?
time, Simon?
Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead and ask what we normally ask people for the closing. It changes every time. I don't know which one you're
Yeah.
going to ask. I'll give you some time to think about it.
What do we have for Simon?
Make it good because he wouldn't tell me a story.
And he is of a different mindset than a lot of people we've interviewed. So
Given one opportunity, not to change anything, but to go back and relive it, just so you can experience it all over again. At what point in your time would you want to go back and do that? You can't change anything. Just the moment was so great, you wish you had a second chance to relive it and appreciate it another shot.
Wow. Well, this is probably a really corny or a very obvious thing to say, but the birth of my kids, that was just like, whoa, that's mind-blowing experience. I'd love to put them back now. But no, that is, obviously that happens for a lot of people, but unless you've experienced it, it's I don't know. That was a really seriously mind-blowing experience for me.
That's awesome.
From a musical point of view, which is, I'm assuming that's what you're asking.
No.
This is not categorized. This
Right,
is about
okay.
your life.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, those are those occasions when my kids were born. That's like the sort of I don't know, this overwhelming feeling of uncontrollable love. It's like it's sort of just a bizarre experience, a real bizarre experience.
Yeah.
And love's a thing that we're short of and we need more of in this world.
Yeah.
Who was born first?
I think we always make everybody cry on this podcast.
Yeah. Who was
I'm not
born
crying.
first?
You didn't-
I'm hard.
oh,
I'm from Wolverhampton.
dang it, man. Shoot. I was so hoping. Go cut an onion and come back.
Yeah.
Sorry, what? I forgot what we were talking about now.
Who was born first with your children? You said you have a son.
My
and a
daughter.
daughter?
My
Okay.
daughter's born first. Yeah.
Okay. Did you know you've always wanted kids?
No. No. It was. They just sort of happened.
Surprise.
So yeah, surprise! Guess what? You're going to be a dad. Oh, fuck.
So where were you in that mindset then, Simon, to where you had to say your kids? Because that wasn't an obvious answer for me. I'm sorry. Like, I would have thought a music experience or your parents or something. What about the kids made that one of the things you would go back and look at but not change?
Well, you said we couldn't change it. So
Yeah.
as far as a sort of amazing experience that I'd want to relive again, which is what I interpreted your question as,
Right.
that those would certainly be up there as something I'd want to go through again, because it's just a fantastic feeling in that moment. It's just incredible. there's been lots of times when, from an ego point of view, where if you're doing a fantastic gig, there's very little that can touch the experience that you get from an amazing gig on whatever scale, whether it's a massive gig or even if you're playing to a small audience. If your gig goes down well, that's something that you can relive over and over again, as long as you keep your standards up, and
Right.
and that's something that you can relive and recreate. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything else.
That's funny. Prometheus says, I never wanted kids, and thankfully I don't have any that I am aware of.
And then there's
There's
that.
With knowing the way the world is, what do you hope that changes for your kids when you're not around to see their lives further in progression? What's the one thing that you just wish and hope that's going to be a betterment?
Wow. I mean, let's face it, everything's got to change, hasn't it? If life is for living, it's not for working your ass off to struggle to pay just to exist.
Yeah.
And that's becoming harder and harder for each generation to just live a decent life without being worked to the bone and piled on with stress. I really feel for my kids. I mean, especially my son. My son's not struggling, but he finds it hard to accept that he gets so little out of putting so much in, and I get that, and it just seems to be getting worse as time goes on. And why is it that you got such a small percentage of people that seem to have the majority of the money? It's like you were saying earlier, Lamar. You're not afraid of hard work. You don't mind working hard, but you also don't want to be working hard and be taken the piss out of.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone deserves a decent and dignified standard of living. I'm definitely I've got a real problem with people that aren't prepared to put the effort in and just want to live off other people. No, forget that.
Yeah.
But by the same token, if somebody's prepared to work hard and somebody is honest and decent, then they deserve to have a decent standard of living, and that's what needs to change.
So do you have this fear of like do you see yourself wanting to step in? I don't know, speaking from my brother and I and Marilyn, we have kids too. And my oldest son deals with autism pretty bad. Do you ever have this feeling like, my God, like I just hope people treat him right? And at what point do you not step in to help them? And is it going to teach them something if you step in every time to help?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because
it is.
It's the old, you've got to be cruel to be kind sometimes. And I do think the best way for anybody to learn anything is to actually work it out for themselves, as long as they know that they've got the support of the parents behind them to make the mistakes, if that makes sense. I've certainly sometimes thought I've probably given my kids a bit too much help here and there. And I think they could have, well, certainly my daughter, to be fair to her, she went out to university and she always supported herself when she was there with jobs and things, and she's always managed to get through with stuff, and she's doing well for herself now. My son less so, but I've given my son a lot of chances, some of which I think perhaps I shouldn't have done, and let him find his own way. It's different when they've, in your case, because your son's suffers from autism, but would it be right in thinking that your son's actually amazing at certain things?
He is, right.
Which is often the case when you got that condition. And there's so many amazing people and so many very well-known people that have got that condition, and capitalised on the skills that they've got in whatever area it is, whether it's music, art, mathematics, whatever it is. And but yeah, when you're a parent, you're always got to be there, haven't you, for your kids? It'd be heartless, and you wouldn't be normal if you didn't worry about them.
I think this is a common staple in a lot of people's household. Like this story you would hear in a lot of people's homes, especially nowadays. For my closing question for you is there something on the event of your passing, God forbid, it's going to happen to all of us, but on the event of that, and let's just say your son and your daughter and your wife look back on this video, would they see something and learn something new about you that they would have never had any clue about? And is there something you would want to say to them while we're on that topic?
Yeah, why did you always lose my socks when you wash them?
That damn washer and
So
it's
it's the washer and dryer. It's the washer and dryer.
That's another one that goes on everyone's home. Where do the socks go?
It's true though, isn't it? Why? I literally, a few weeks ago, went out and bought some new socks, and I can't find a matching pair anywhere. What the fuck is going on with that? And to be fair,
it's the aliens. They come here for the socks.
So that's what I'd like. That's what I'd like them to know. You know how much I don't appreciate my socks getting lost. Even though I do a lot of my own washing, I hasten to add. I'm not, you know. So no, I don't know. I don't think there is. I'm not particularly deep person, really. I'm a pretty open book, so my wife probably knows more about me than I do. So, so there's nothing that I've said tonight that she's not going to be aware of.
Yeah,
that's a beautiful thing. I mean, you always want to leave. When we all eventually leave, you just want to leave the best parts of you and the only parts, you know.
Because in the long scheme of things, Simply Risky didn't know he was going to die so early.
Yeah.
In a way, he did. We're not going to divulge like how he knew that, but in a way, he did know he was going to die early because of the life he was leading, right? But I've always liked to view these things as a look into someone's life, a look into their ideations, and you never know. Forbid something happened to you and your kids come back to look at this video, you know, before we get out of here. What would you want to say to them real quick?
I love you and I always will do. And I hope you do me. Simple as that. What more can you want? You want to know that you're loved, and you want to know that you love your family and your friends Friends are equally as important, and leave the world hopefully with people thinking good of you and not thinking bad. If you can achieve that, then job's a good one.
Very important.
Very important.
Yeah, it's all about how we exit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, shit, Simon, you've been like...
We got to have you back. There's still more questions
for
you, sir.
Yeah.
And we want you to get out of here on time, and we want to get our people out of here on time, but you've been a really good guest, and it's so interesting and fascinating to finally know who Simon is. And I had this... Well, to me, it's brilliant because I had these notions about who Simon was, and I always wondered about these things, and we never really get a chance to have these conversations with the family. So the fact that we now, and I'm sure others know now who Simon is, you know, and what his walk of life was about, at least a little brief moments that you could describe and what your interests are.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming on and doing this.
It's been a pleasure, and thank you for having me. Been wicked.
Before Simon leaves, he needs to help us do one in the house song.
Oh, okay. We got somebody new in the house.
For Brett Lemmings.
Brett Lemmings.
Whoa.
Yes.
Do you know this person, Simon?
Yes, I know. I see him a lot on the in the community. And he does some wicked stuff as well. Check out his channel.
Nice.
Absolutely
Okay.
So we
amazing.
got to check out Brett.
All right,
Okay.
let me go open it up. Real
Welcome
quick.
into the jungle.
Yeah.
Monkey Island, baby.
It's open for business.
Okay, so hi, Brett in the house.
Brett in the house.
Brett in the house.
Okay, are you ready, Simon?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yes. Here we go. All right, folks.
We should let Simon do it by his damn self. He's
Yeah.
better than us.
This is the one and only opportunity I get to have to say I sang with Simon.
Simon, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go. Oh shit! You always scare me with
always,
that.
right?
Man. Let's go. Oh.
Here we go. Look, he cleared his throat.
Oh, yeah.
Brett is in the house.
Hell yes. Brett is in the house. That was a higher note there, Simon. Brett is in the house.
Brett is in the house.
Oh,
Brett is in the house.
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 Brett is in the house. That goddamn latency's a killer. Brett is in the house. Hell
Brett
yeah.
is in the house.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that was
In the house. Brett
When
is
is
in the house. Yeah.
when he was doing those higher notes. I was
Yeah.
like, man, dang.
He got that from Prince all day long. I'm going
Right?
to say right
Yeah,
now. That's
yeah.
why Prince didn't kick them out of the
Yeah,
band.
Simon,
Yeah.
Simon was holding his
Yeah,
balls
yeah.
when he did that and squeezed
Simon
just a little bit.
Taught
Yep.
Prince everything, and Prince said, "Thanks, peace out."
Yeah, peace.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Simon. Now get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
and then
Yeah,
changed his
fucking
name
Prince
to this
bastard.
weird. Then changed his name to this
Motherfucker.
weird sign,
Yeah.
so you couldn't like,
Yeah.
find him and
Yeah.
Changed his name, so I couldn't find his number in the phone book. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
yeah, he ditched you. He ditched all of you fuckers.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
And he went around wearing blouses.
Some nice ones too.
Some
Yeah,
nice
some
ones.
nice ones too.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we'll be back Monday at what time?
5
5 o'clock. And just so you all know, we're back into our original business. We may be pulled away on an emergency case with a horse. All of that stuff is going to start happening again in time. So if we're not on time, chances are our business is doing it to us, and that's going to be ultimately the first.
Sometimes we might go live when we're doing horses, so you guys
Sometimes
get
it
to
might
see
go
what
You
we're
live.
never
doing.
know
You
when
never
she'll
know.
break the camera out.
Yeah.
We just got to get into a place that has great reception because 9 times out of 10 we're in the middle of nowhere doing this stuff, and we don't have great reception. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, said Samurai. He says interviews, music jams, events, S.O.R's got it all. Great show. Sky is the limit. baby.
Samurai.
Nice, Samurai.
Great
Samurai.
guests. Yes,
You
he
say
was.
arigato
Like we say, arigato.
Simon was a great guest.
Yeah,
Thank you,
everybody,
Simon.
please check out Simon's.
See?
I'm going to change
channel.
my name. Great guest. It's better than
Great
Great
guest.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
guest.
yeah.
Check out Simon.
Simon,
Great guest.
great guest instead of great bitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Great
a great
bitch,
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
I agree.
always plugging people. So check out Sin Samurai. Check out Echo Crab. Check
Yeah.
out Luke at Sim Seeker.
Yep.
You guys know who to check out. But I'm going to say something special right now. And
Oh,
we-
Andy Fireblades, a sub to Simon.
Oh, nice,
Yay.
Andy.
There you go.
Cheers, man.
there you go. Check
I
out
will
Sinker-
reciprocate.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Check out
Fireblade.
Fireblades. I don't know if he's doing anything. Check him out. But here's a person we really want you to go and look at the content. It was done so beautiful. It's 2 people here. One was on Popcorn Nights. It was Steve Luciasonis who did something amazing.
Yeah, that was
Everybody
phenomenal.
can learn from it. And Chrome,
Yeah.
please, Uncle Chrome did something special last night. If you haven't seen it,
Yeah.
you're missing something.
Yeah. Check it
special.
out. Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it
please.
out.
Yep.
With that said, get over to Get Jervis. We're sorry to hold that party up, and
Yep.
we love you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5.
Thank you again, Simon.
Thank you
really
again,
appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Simon. We
Big love
appreciate
to you guys. Thank you so much. Nice one.
Yep.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.
Damn, if you had your some synths up, you could play with us, play out with us if you want it.
Hang on. No, I've got it. I couldn't get my interface to work earlier, so I had to do it on a different Mac. So I've got all my stuff over there, which, yeah, pain in the arse, but do it
Yeah.
another time, eh?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
for real.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks, Simon.
Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
See ya.